Welcome to the Hodja on Architecture Podcast Season 2. Video Game Architecture. Chapter 1, The Introduction. The current era is the golden age of video gaming. There is also a growing interest in studying on academic grounds. Video games are no longer considered mere entertainment. They are now widely acknowledged as cultural products with deep artistic, social, and architectural layers. This shift has opened the door for serious academic inquiry, encouraging scholars to examine the medium through new lenses. Educational programs, research projects, and symposia now frequently include discussions on the spatial logic, design philosophy, and immersive environments found in games. Studies like Allegories of Space, The Question of Spatiality in Computer Games, Arseth, 2001, The Role of Architecture in Video Games, Adams, 2002, The Importance of Architecture in Video Games, Bruchud, 2013, and Building Imaginary Worlds, The Theory and History of Subcreation, Wolf, 2012, can be considered as pioneers. These foundational texts have laid the necessary groundwork by introducing key questions. How is space represented in games? How do virtual environments shape player experience? What role does architecture play in immersion and narrative? Each of these studies has opened a unique perspective on how architecture functions not just as background, but as an active participant in gameplay and storytelling. Therefore, the use of architecture in video games is a popular subject. From urban landscapes in dystopian futures to medieval villages in fantasy worlds, architecture in games sets the tone, scale, and cultural context. It provides players with orientation, memory cues, and even emotional responses. As such, it's no surprise that architecture is becoming one of the main subjects of inquiry in game design discussions. Many studies focus on a single video game title and begin writing its architecture directly. However, to understand the use of structures in any single video game, one should first study the background of the field. It is tempting to jump directly into dissecting the Gothic arches of Bloodborne or the ruins of The Last of Us. But before engaging with individual case studies, it's crucial to step back and establish a general theoretical background. Without this, there's a risk of overlooking the patterns and intentions that inform design choices across games, genres, and studios. As the main contribution of this study to the literature, the fields of storytelling and world building, which were previously absent in existing works, and the overall relationship between architecture and video games should be explored, as this lays a foundation for studying the architecture of a single game. Unlike traditional media, video games offer spatial narratives. They don't just tell a story, they let us walk through it. Therefore, this study emphasizes the importance of placing storytelling and world building at the core. How is space narrativized? What does it mean to architect a feeling, a myth, a history, a cultural logic? These are not mere aesthetic choices, they are the bones of the game world. Studying this relationship allows us to grasp architecture not as ornament, but as a narrative engine. The study should scale up from the structure base to the environment base. Rather than beginning with a building or object, the context in which it belongs must be examined. What kind of environmental logic surrounds it? What social, ecological, or political structures does it suggest? The environment provides the rules of existence. It governs movement, orientation, and the very perception of space. Many current video games introduce a brand new three-dimensional world to tell us their story within. For the current level of technology, it is relatively easy to build a new world. Thanks to powerful engines and user-friendly design tools, developers can generate expansive worlds filled with detail. But quantity does not equal quality. A massive map filled with random structures doesn't automatically constitute a coherent or meaningful world. However, is modeling a new settlement in a larger context enough for naming it a world? This is a critical question. Does a map stitched with different terrains, towns, and biomes truly function as a world? Or is it merely a decorated playground? An actual world demands internal coherence, cultural logic, and layered histories, qualities that transcend graphic fidelity. There are some base points in world building, and a newly generated one should meet these essential criteria to be considered a world. To claim the title of a world, a game must offer more than a collection of models. It must have mythology, geography, architecture, temporality, and a sense of belonging. These elements must work together to create what can be called a lived illusion, a place that feels real even if it's fantastical. That's where architecture plays its crucial part, not just by existing, but by expressing the soul of that world. This is the end of the video game architecture. Chapter 1, the introduction. Thanks for listening. See you in the next episode.